Adopting the right financial mindset, going from scarcity to abundance. Ask yourself, do I have the right mindset for financial success? Please take a moment to think about this. Really, what do you think about money? Is there plenty of it? Or is it a scarce resource in your mind? Most of us actually think it's a scarce resource, and we don't think that there's money in abundance out there for us. My name is Risley Sams. I'm CEO and founder of RHS Financial in San Francisco. And in the next 10 minutes or so, I will do my best to show you how, again, kind of a little bit of a how-to start changing your mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. Self-help coach Tony Robbins and others say that success is 80% mindset and 20% skills. Well, I'm no world-famous self-help guru, nor am I some kind of McKinsey consultant. I do know, however, that it is difficult to be successful with money if you have a negative financial mindset. It's essentially an anchor that stops most of us because we grew up and are conditioned towards scarcity. So why do we need to change that? Well, we need to adopt a different kind of mindset that allows for growth. Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck, in her book, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, in a 3-decade-long quantitative study, found that the key to success wasn't actually ability, but how you looked at ability. If you rather took ability as something that needs to be demonstrated versus something that can be developed. And what do I mean by that? She said, look, people who believe they can develop a skill have more of a growth mindset. So people who sit there and say, okay, I don't know how to do something, but I can develop the skills to do that or become that person, has more of a growth-oriented mindset. And this is a very important point in that since we grow up with scarcity, it is conditioned into us, and this has to change. And it is not a growth-oriented thing because many of us sit back and go, oh, that person is successful because they had the skills that were innate to them. But what Carol Dweck says in her book is that our mindset dictates this. We either say, yeah, that person was born with it, they had that ability, versus the people who say, yeah, I might not have that ability now, but I can develop it. So again, if we grow up with scarcity and we don't think we can change that, it's going to be conditioned into us. And again, this has to change if we want to be successful. Now, according to the National Science Foundation, what makes it even harder for us to change in this condition is that an average person has about 12 to 60,000 thoughts per day. And of those, 80% are negative. Why? It's because we try to avoid pain. Work harder to avoid pain than we do towards pleasure. So what I would say is try to be more positive and find more win-win scenarios within life. I think this is really, really important to look at. And since we are conditioned towards negative things, we have to actually actively work at thinking positively. We need to do what Charles Duhigg in his book about breaking habits is we have to break the habit loop by starting with very, very, very small mindset shifts that move us in the right direction towards going away from scarcity in everything we think about, especially when it comes to money, to abundance, like there's lots of opportunity. So here are some of my tips to help you start the process of changing your mindset from scarcity to abundance. First, be happy with what you have. This may not help you buy things that you don't need, things like doing retail therapy. Let me restate that again. Be happy with what you have. People talk about retail therapy making you feel better, but half of that is not necessarily that you need the item that you purchased. It's more that it makes you feel good because you're doing something different. It's perhaps a distraction from your day. That's part of the habit loop that Charles Duhigg talks about, is that you go online and surf to shop in order to break the monotony of what you're doing at work during the day. It doesn't necessarily serve you. Other thing you can do is just think more positive thoughts daily. Again, we're conditioned 80% of our thoughts are negative. Well, try to up it to maybe 30 or 40%. Or if you have a negative thought, see what the positive side would be. It actually takes work to be negative, so why do it? We have to make a decision of how we think about something, maybe instead of thinking negative about it, try to think positive about it. Another thing I like to talk about is hanging up. And no, that isn't the phone. What it is try to hang out with people you aspire to be with, to be like. These people will actually help elevate you and get you to think differently about things, just because in general they're going to be more positive. Some of your current peers may actually be holding you back, and you have to think about it. But if you take time, think about who you're with and who you're hanging out with, and do they serve you in a way that helps you? I mean, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but that's also the idea of letting go, because sometimes it can put you in a negative mood that you don't really need. Try more often to think in terms of abundance rather than scarcity. I know that isn't easy, but think in terms of what's possible, not impossible. Now, I'm not saying you should think about going to the moon, but Elon Musk is in the process of trying to do that right now. Actually, he's trying to go to Mars. So it may be possible, but without big thoughts and big, hairy, audacious goals, where are we going to get? So again, don't say it's impossible, but think about in a kind of pragmatic way how it could become possible and be better for you. Be open to greater possibility, and do not ever let your small job or business limit your growth and potential. I think this is really, really important. We kind of equate ourselves with what we have. If we have a small business, we think we should always have a small business. If we have a job that is kind of a dead end and it's not getting us to where we want, doesn't mean that's where you're going to stay. And the more positive you are about it, the more likely that you can think through some of the problems that are holding you back in both your job or your small business. Now, we also need to talk again about breaking that habit loop. When you feel like you need to do something that you don't want to do, or you know is bad for you, like spend money online as a distraction from work, as I spoke about earlier, do something else that's positive. Like take a walk and actually spend the time on that walk thinking about how great everything you already have is, and why you don't need to go online and order another pair of shoes or a handbag or buy something for your boat or your car or something that you don't really need. And then even better, take that money that you would have spent, send it to your savings or brokerage account and invest it, so you have it for a rainy day when you really need it. So those are just a few of my tips on how to start the process of changing your mindset from scarcity to abundance. I know changing your mindset is a journey and will obviously prove to be a difficult one, but I believe it'll be a very worthwhile adventure. Be positive. Look, I've had over 50 years of conditioning, and by no means do I have this down. But every day I just try to take 10 or 15% of my thoughts and spin them in a positive light, and it makes things easier, especially in today's trying times where everybody's barraging you with political stuff. You have issues in the world that are geopolitical that will always be there, and the more positive you look at them and reflect them on your life and have gratitude and abundance, the more likely you're going to develop the right kind of mindset for financial success.